Welcome to Take It Up with Jessica Lee. My guests today are leaders from FinancialForce. I have with me the CMO, Fred Studer, and Head of Design, Radu Ranga. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Tell us, how are things going with FinancialForce? Because I know you guys have been around for like 8 years with Salesforce and 700 employees now, so things are going really well.
Yeah, we've had some really great growth. Radu and I joined about 2 years ago, and our key focus was to really reignite the brand promise and to ensure that the company had a amazingly compelling storyline that all of our customers could both appreciate, but as we started to grow, as we have over the last 2 years, that we brought in new prospects and new excitement and reinvigorated the market. Okay. So we've been really excited about that.
Maybe you can tell the audience a little bit what FinancialForce does. Not everybody knows about the market you're in.
Sure. So FinancialForce basically is we really provide B2B software as a service to companies that are on the Salesforce platform to really help them do everything from managing their financials to their billing to their revenue recognition. And we do that for companies across a multitude of industries in the, really in that mid-market space. We also have an enterprise motion where we focus specifically on professional services automation for very large companies like Google, AWS, Hewlett-Packard Enterprises. They have thousands of consultants, and we help them really automate the ability to put consultants on projects to help them manage those projects successfully and then to bill accurately their customers. So everything from professional services automation and financial management, billing, and revenue recognition all in the cloud.
Okay, so let's move now to marketing, which is your domain expertise. The rapid growth, how have you been able to attract customers?
So the key to really attracting customers, and obviously Radu will get into this, is to not only have a really authentic and compelling story that resonates with them, and that really does require a deep dive into who have you sold to successfully and who's gotten business value out of it. But, the market is so fatigued by marketing, whether it's emails or videos or anything, unless you can really engage that audience in something compelling and put it to them in a way that they actually can consume. And that has to be both scientific and something that's meaningful, but it also has to be artistic and interesting to them. And so it's been really fun to kind of evolve the brand and all of the message to a true story that now is resonating not only with our customers, but with prospects as well.
Okay, so let's talk about you talk about the beauty part of it, right? So that's where design comes in. So maybe I can ask Radu right now to talk about some of the changes you made and the impact that you've seen with the change of design.
Yeah, well, design really starts with what our strategy is from the top. And we meet with the CEO, with Fred regularly, even the head of product, to try to find our story. But then we have to bring it to life in a way that's, like I mentioned before, delightful, helpful, and memorable. Because if you're not creating that memory that audiences need to have in order to follow up with you, you're not really creating a brand. So a brand to me is really the memories that we create with our audiences.
Right.
And to do that, like Fred said, you really have to be helpful in the sense that it's not a conqueror mentality like it used to be in marketing maybe 10, 20 years ago. It's more of a seducer mentality. These people have choices. These people want to do their jobs better, and you need to come to them with content and solutions that are helpful rather than marketing hype. So the language that we choose and the imagery we choose, it all has to resonate with the customer. So you'll see us take a much more B2C approach, for lack of a better term. And this is where he and I really bonded when we met years ago. I came from the agency side, he came from the B2B side, but we always had a fondness for humanity. So I always felt like B2C is a more authentic and engaging way to market.
Yes.
So you'll see that reflected in all our language and imagery as well.
Well, I know you've made some significant conversion increase on the website. You want to share about that, going from 1.8% to 6.5% conversion rate?
Sure.
That's great.
Yeah, that was an incredible metric for us, and I thought it was going to take us longer than a year to get there, to be honest, because 1.8 is a little under from where most companies are, and 7 is about the holy grail. But it was really quantitative and qualitative. When you go to our homepage now, you'll see happy, smiling customers. We have tremendous customer stories. We have very happy and excited customers, and you never saw that before. So just when you get there, you get a sense that people are satisfied, and that's the ultimate shortcut to, is this product working for people, and is this a good technology company? But we also do smart things like using Tribideo, which we talked about a little bit earlier, to serve up the content that's relevant to their industry, role, region, and other factors, as long as we can pull that data from when they're visiting the site. We also use Vidyard to, Vidyard is just a very sophisticated video platform where you can just create a form at the end of the video to download more content and engage more with stuff that we believe could be helpful for you. So the art side, making CTAs clear and obvious, as well as the humanity side to show that customers are successful and happy, I think all contributed to the success.
Now let's talk about the science, the data-driven part of marketing. You want to share how you're doing this ABM campaign and how it's working out?
Sure, absolutely. And this is where Radu and I both have some commonality as well. We both really appreciate and have passion around the artistic side, all the creative. I mean, Radu is a creative genius, and how we build the story and how we wrap it really beautifully, artistically, to be compelling. But you still have to have the science side,
yes.
And we both appreciate that, because if people aren't clicking on your website, it doesn't matter how beautiful it is or how elegant you think it is. It could be Louis Vuitton, but if they're not buying your bags, that's a problem. And so what we really early on, when we were both working at Microsoft, we realized that every response or lead that we got ultimately had to turn into a one deal, or else we missed something in both the artistic and the scientific approach. And so really over the last 3 years, specifically the last 2 years at FinancialForce, Radu and I have gotten a PhD in demand gen, and specifically in ABM. Yeah, master's.
You got a PhD.
But really having a focus, because when you're at a startup in our size, really any size, every dollar that you put into marketing it's got to matter. It's got to turn into something. And so both from a focus perspective and getting the science of who exactly you're targeting, doing really sophisticated, let's call it segmentation, getting really good tools. We use DataFox to really score those accounts, to do a good job of landing all of those accounts with your account executives, and then having a true ABM that is connected all the way through as soon as you get a response or a targeted account, through your BDR team, and then all the way through the funnel, and managing all of those scientific handoffs, making sure you see where pipeline is flowing, so that ultimately when we do have that gorgeous site, or we have that great video, or we do these really wonderfully elegant artistic things, that it's still, from a quantitative perspective, driving revenue for the company. And so really doing that, and the one metric that you and I were talking about before the show, we went, when we started, we had a 9-to-1 marketing ROI. That means for every dollar we put into marketing, $9 came out of the pipeline. Right now, we're actually at, I think, our best performance ever. We're at 1-to-20, and some of our campaigns are 1-to-25. So you think about growing that efficiency. So we need less marketing budget to drive even more pipeline. That's a success for me as a CMO.
No, that's fantastic. That's great growth, right? From 9 to 25.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, you have actually decided not to do some of the other kind of marketing tactics like a billboard that I heard about. So why don't you tell us about maybe the lessons learned and the decisions you made?
Sure. And Radu and I, he might have a perspective on this as well. We love the notion of billboards. But what we've realized is unless they're very targeted and you actually do things around that billboard, like a press release, you actually do a social campaign around it, you do other activation, it doesn't really land and provide the value that you want. It might get viewed by a couple thousand drivers, but unless you really use it to engage, it might not be the best use of funding. And so what we've at least chosen at FinancialForce, at least currently, is we've used much more targeted marketing. So we obviously do a ton of search. We use LinkedIn excessively. We use Google, very targeted approach around the segmentation model that I already talked about. And then we do most of our branding through both PR, through our web, through digital campaigns that we have. And we've been very successful with those. Obviously, as we grow, the ideal would be to, in your next target markets, to do, some really creative things. And I wouldn't say billboards are out of our realm, but so far we've had so much success with the digital world and being able to really directly target our audiences that, and we've been able to do that in a fun, efficient way. I think we're going to continue down that path.
Okay. So as the company's growing growing, are you looking to get into different verticals, different markets, expanding the portfolio of offerings?
For sure. Right now, our three main verticals that we sell to in this order are large professional services organizations, software, and software as a service organizations. So companies like FinancialForce that are growing, companies that would have a annuity type product to sell as a service because we have a very unique billing capability that helps companies do that. But we also have the professional services automation capabilities to help them manage resources and then ultimately do all the accounting and billing for that. But we also sell to medical devices and high-tech device companies because they have similar types of needs. But as we expand, we'll absolutely continue to build our portfolios out. Those verticals, there's tons of market opportunity there. And what we've done recently to really add to the capability set is work very closely with Salesforce with their latest analytics tool called Einstein. So we have 1,300 customers that are successfully using FinancialForce across PSA and our financials products. But now they really want to get better into reporting, analytics, and even the notion of artificial intelligence. And because we're built on the Salesforce platform, we really get to take advantage of that great analytics capability. And so very soon we'll be announcing some great capabilities that our current customers can start to take advantage of with regards to Einstein and analytics. But I think that is going to be a new driver for decisions in B2B technology going forward.
Okay. What are your challenges then?
So I'd say our three biggest challenges, one is just really focus. As a high growth company, every resource matters. And so even when Radu and I talk, and it's not just about the dollars that we put in, it's also about the people. We constantly are thinking, every time we have a change in market or we think about the new products, every quarter we're assessing, are every one of our resources on the right projects, doing the right thing to drive the optimal impact? And so I think getting the team focused and having an agile team that can really reflect what our market needs is really one of the key demands and challenges of a startup. I think probably the second one is just keeping relevant with your audiences. I think the trick that we've been spending a lot of time on is we always are interviewing our customers for why they bought, because as soon as you shift from the pain point that you think you're solving to the pain point that you really are solving, that's the one you want to market. Because when a CIO or a CFO or a head of services wakes up in the morning, we want he or she to be able to say, wow, FinancialForce is the company that's really driving this improvement for me. And so we try to stay really on top of working with our product teams, and because we're moving so quickly, that product marketing, that vision statement, and all of the product details are really critical. And then I think third is really making sure that as a services organization that we're delivering on the value that we promise. Marketing is only as good as the customer stories that validate that we did what we said we were going to do. Right. It's kind of like corporate integrity. And so we spend a lot of time as we're rolling out these new products that every single customer not only starts using it, but they're getting the benefits out of the product, because then we can bring that back into marketing and say, here is a whole new set of great customers that have stories and are willing to help us go to market. Because really at the end of the day, people don't believe marketing, they believe real authentic customer stories of people that are just like them. And so the more that we can really foster that success and that they're alive and getting benefits, the better for us.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask Radu then what your challenges are on the design part then.
Well, I would echo focus as the number one thing as well, maybe with a slightly different lens. I mean, every time we release messaging at GFK, we want to make sure all our projects align to what product is building, what customers resonate with, and with the vision that we set out. But as Fred said, our next big goal is making sure we resonate with customers. So we have a strategy and a vision for where we want to go with the product, but we're constantly fine-tuning. And Jessica, you and I talked about this too. We test messaging with customers. We test messaging with small ad spend in digital spaces. We test it even on Instagram sometimes, like I said, when we launched our new brand identity. Yes. So we want to make sure what we say for our vision is in a language that customers can relate with. I don't think I have a third challenge yet, but I guess budget would probably be one of them. Everybody wants to spend more, but I think to come back to a little bit to that billboard, I think the way we got to like a 20 to 1 versus a 9 to 1 is by really finding efficiency in our spend. And we'll still do big splashes of campaigns, but it's very targeted and very mindful. So it has to be, if we do a billboard, which we are going to do, we'd want to do one at a reduced cost, maybe find some remnant space, but then augment it with a landing page, with a digital strategy, as Fred was mentioning. So I think finding the way to spend that money right is always a trick. But we're constantly getting more efficient. I'm probably one of the cheapest teams in marketing, and I'm actually proud of that because we deliver tremendous impact, like we showed with the website. So budget, I think, is a good one to keep in mind.
This is all very good marketing best practices and tips that you're sharing. What is exciting for you ahead for this year? What are you trying to achieve now?
So I'll start. I think we want to continue to evolve our branding so that not just our market and our customers can kind of see what the value is, but we're trying to open up into partners, right? So Radu and I both worked at larger companies. Microsoft had a really good channel program, and at FinancialForce, we're right in the prime zone of getting the attention that we need to have other companies help us really take it to market.
I see.
And so one of the opportunities in marketing and one of the successes of branding is getting recognized, both by, financial markets so they get excited about it, by your target market so they want to buy more, by partners so they can help you extend. Mm-hmm. And so we've been very strategic in everything from our communication strategy and how we do good old-fashioned product launches, but we've added the art and the creative from a social perspective and really have amplified that. Like, the artwork that Radu and his team do, we have a full-time videographer who is just amazing, and we create these great videos that capture all of the excitement, and those types of things just, they virally kind of connect with people. And so we use that on LinkedIn, on our Facebook page, on Instagram, and our main goal for this next year is to get even more efficient, but to really create a name and a space for FinancialForce as not only just amazing tech, but a very creative and innovative company throughout every division.
Okay, sounds great. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, sure. One of the most exciting things for me is seeing how people do react when we connect with them. So at our events, we had an event last year. We're going to have one pretty soon now in about a month in Vegas if you want to join us. But customers were tweeting at our marketing team, at our brand department. They were talking about how the event was magnificent, from verbal to visual, everything tied together in a message, and they were so excited to be there and see this brand come alive. And I feel like we just got to get in front of more people because we have an amazing product. It's really the only modern ERP in the space. So if you want easier and better, I think we're the only choice. But yeah, we got to get more people to know about us. So just looking forward to getting our word out there.
Is there an actual Gartner Magic Quadrant for your category?
Yes, there is. There's all of the analyst firms really cover us. So everyone from Gartner, who covers us in, kind of a service-centric ERP, which we're one of the leaders in. The companies that would look at us, SPI, G2 Crowd, they rank us as one of the leaders in the PSA space, and specifically with the last report, we were #1 in professional services automation, and we do very well in the mid-market ERP plays. So, if companies are on the Salesforce platform and have a services organization and or a strong financials need with, the need for complex billing, FinancialForce is a great choice for them.
Okay, and are you hiring big time?
We are. We're absolutely hiring across the board, every org.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyone looking for a job should check out FinancialForce,
They
right?
absolutely should. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a great place.
It's been a pleasure having you here, both of you. Thank you very much for joining and sharing your different perspectives. I appreciate you sharing with the audience too.
Thanks for having us,
Absolutely.
Jessica.
Yeah, always happy.
Thank you very much for watching with us. Take it up with Jessica Lee.